Welcome back to my channel. Today we are learning Amazon EBS, the block storage services used by millions of applications. Today I will show you how it works, types of volume, real-time creation, multi-attach demo and the best practices you will actually use in your projects. Let's do it. Today we are discussing about elastic block store. So in this video, I will explain Elastic Block Store via scenario. A company named TechLearn Solutions is building a training portal where two backend servers need to share the same disk temporarily for migration tasks. You are assigned as a cloud and DevOps engineer to set up multi-attach EBS volume shared between EC2 instance. That's our task in hand. So let's move on to our task. First, we need to create a volume. Here, for the multi-attach EBS volume, I should use a provinced IPOS SSD IO2. We are creating a volume of 4 GB and we are choosing availability zone as APS1 AZ1 as AP South -1A. That's our availability zone. Make sure that when you create an instance, the same make sure the availability zone must be the same. So here we enable multi-attach and we create that volume. Here we can see successfully created volume named, we can see the ID. So next we move to the EC2. We can create two instances so that we can select launch instance. Here on AMI, Amazon Machine Image, I will select an AMI with named as Amazon Linux 2023 kernel 6.1 AMI, where I will select the architecture as 64-bit ARM. So we can see ID is changed. Okay, next we need to see we need to select instance type. So here I am using an instance type named t4g.micro. t4g.micro. That is the instance I would like to use. Here I'm selecting a security group with HTTP, SSH and HTTPS enabled. Now we are creating two instances where we can prefer which availability zone must it should be. So we can see that our volume is on AP South 1A. So we need to select the same availability zone and we will create the instance. We got two instance named server one. I will change one of its name so I can identify it's easily. So we can see the availability zone IP address, all the everything, and it's running. Okay, next we move to the steps where we need to attach the volume to the instance. So here we go, select our volume and go to attach volume. So here we can select which instance we need to attach the volume to. So I am attaching the volume to server 1. Device name will be dev sdf. We press attach volume. So here the volume is attached. So we can see that. Now the same volume I will attach to the next server, server 2, and that's the same name for the device name. So I'll attach the volume. Oh, okay. We attached both volume to our instance. Now now I select the server 1 and networking, and I will prefer my public ID. Copy my public ID, and I use putty to connect to our machine. So I paste my public ID here and select my key pair. Here we can see that our machine is connected. So we'll do some adjustments before we move to next. Okay. Okay. Now, first for server A, first machine formats and prepare the shared disk. Why server 1? Because formatting means MKFS must be done only once in multi-attach. If you format both servers, the disk will be get corrupted. We need to find which volume is attached to. So we can type a command ls dlk and see what to type. Okay, we can see that NVMe1 N1. That's where our newly created volume is here. We need to mount it. Before that, we need to format it. So first step is to type sudo mkfs dot xfs dev slash the our name. That's here. That should be placed here in VME 1 and 1. That's our name. So we could put it here. Okay. I will explain this command. mkfs.xfs means make a new xfs file system. Dev slash nvme1 n1 means we are creating a 4 GB multi-attach EBS volume. This turns the raw EBS block device into usable file system. Next up, create a mount point where we can create a directory named shared minus EBS. That's our folder where the disk will be attached. Why? A disk cannot be accessed directly. It must be bounded on a folder. For example, here slash shared hyphen EBS became the location where files are stored on the disk. So we can move to the command sudo mkdir slash shared hyphen EBS. That's our making a new folder. So next step, we use this folder to mount our disk, our newly created EBS volume. So mount the disk. We use the command mount dev nvme1 to shared EBS. right? Attach the formatted EBS disk to the folder slash shared hyphen EBS. Why? Why we are doing this? Now our EC2 instance can use the disk like a normal folder. Everything you write to slash shared EBS is actually stored in EBS volume. Sudo mount slash dev slash nvme nvme 1 n1 to shared hyphen EBS. Okay. Next step, we changing the ownership. Why we changing the ownership? Every write inside slash shared hyphen EBS should require root. That's why we need to make sure the ownership must be to the EC2 user. So the command is chown EC2 user EC2 user slash shared hyphen EBS, meaning make EC2 user the owner of the folder. Allow you to create files without using sudo. Oh, okay. Let's do it. The command is sudo chown EC2 hyphen user hyphen okay full colon EC2 hyphen user to shared hyphen EBS. Okay, next we need to create a test file. Okay, that's just we need to create a just test file inside shared hyphen EBS. So our command will be echo. The content will be hello run server one. That will be the content of the file in shared hyphen shared, shared hyphen EBS slash server one dot txt. Okay, this file we will check on server 2 proving sharing is working. Now we move to next server. We can take its public IP, repeat the same. Now we are in server 2. Access the same shared disk. Why server 2? Because multi-attach means same disk is mounted to two different EC2 machines at the same time. Do not repeat the first step. Format the shared disk. That will make the disk corrupted. So we will move to the second step. See, first we need to see the disk first. LSBLK, and we can see there is the same EBS volume here. So moving to the second step, create a mount point and mount the disk we used in server 1. So first step is sudo make a directory mkdir where same name must be used. Shared hyphen EBS. So next, sudo mount slash dev slash shared, sorry, nvme nvme one and one. That's our EBS volume. So next, slash shared hyphen EBS. Okay, meaning same disk is now mounted to server 2. Now server 2 can read and write to the same shared multi-attach EBS volume. Now we move to the third step. Read the shared file. So the command is cat slash shared hyphen EBS slash server 1. That's our same text file from server 1. We can see whether we can see the same content in server 1 from server 2. Here we can see that from server 2 we accessed the content of the file from the server 1. So meaning server 2 is successfully reading a file created from server 1. That's how we explain EBS using a scenario based learning. Now, now we can delete, we can see how to delete the EBS volume and the servers. So first we need to get into the servers one by one. I'm taking the public IP same as that and repeating. I need to enter into the same machine once more. C2 user. So we can see how to delete or unmount from the server. Unmount our EBS volume from the server. So the command is now sudo umount slash shared hyphen EBS. We need to unmount our the same EBS volume. So the same file is unmounted. So we can close it, close this server and open the server one. Okay, server one networking, we can copy the public IP. We should repeat the same command here, sudo hyphen sudo umount slash shared hyphen EBS. That's only command we need to unmount. So next step, we need to delete our EBS volume. Before deleting, just deleting our EBS volume, we need to detach our EBS volume from our instance. So we press detach. Select our instances. We have two instances. I will select one of them. Okay, detach. Yes, successfully detached. We just okay. Now the same thing repeat. Sorry, attach, detach, detach. Okay. Okay. We successfully detached the EBS volume from our instances. So you can see that now there is no option for detach volume. So next we need to delete this volume. So the action is to delete the volume. delete. We can see the other two volumes are created when we created our instances. So we just delete our both instances. So we can see that our instance is terminating. Then both our we can see that and after shutting down, we can see that the volume also disappeared. Here we can see the instances are terminated. So what we learned is that we learned to use EBS multi-attach. So here are some interesting facts about EBS. Yes, it can share a raw block device in real time, but not safely for normal file system. Here, EBS multi-attach only shares the block layers, not the file system layer. This means both EC2 instance see the same disk, but both can read and write to it. But the file system we used is XFS that cannot be coordinate simultaneous writes. Therefore, if two servers write at the same time, the file system corruption can happen. That's why AWS says you must use a cluster aware file system like GFS2 or OCFS2. Here, both refers to as a two open source shared disk Linux cluster file systems. Global File System 2 and Oracle Cluster File System 2 for real production multi-attach. We used XFS, which is okay, but one server writes, others other server reads. No concurrent writes happening. For that occurs, we should not use XFS as a for formatting the disk. So we should use is GFS2 or OCSF2. OCFS2 like global file system 2 or cluster file system 2. We should use it to other than XFS. That's how we optimize the EBS in a production line. So that's for all today. Thank you.